The apartment building's gone quiet. The hallway lights are fading low. Another day has slipped behind me, further than I thought I'd go. I carried worries through the morning, held them tightly in my hands, trying hard to keep it together, trying harder just to stand. The city moved without a pause, people rushing everywhere, but underneath the noise around me, I was carrying silent prayers. And now the midnight air is colder, the streets are emptying below. The world feels smaller through my window as distant headlights slowly glow. I don't have the answers tonight, don't know where this road may lead, but the silence feels a little kinder than it did when I couldn't breathe. When the last light upstairs goes dark and the traffic loses its sound, the city feels a little softer when there's nobody around. I watch reflections on the pavement, like memories passing through, and for a moment in the midnight, everything feels new. Everything feels new. The coffee cup beside the notebook, the unfinished plans I made, all the dreams that seemed so certain now feel farther away. I thought I'd be somewhere different, thought I'd have it figured out, but the older that I'm getting, the more I learn what life's about. Not having every answer, not knowing where I'll land, just finding peace inside the questions, learning not to understand. Outside the rain begins to whisper against the corner of the glass, and for the first time all day long, I stopped trying to move so fast. Maybe nothing really changes, maybe tomorrow feels the same, but tonight the weight is lighter, and that's enough for me. When the last light upstairs goes dark and the traffic loses its sound, the city feels a little softer when there's nobody around. I watch reflections on the pavement, like memories passing through, and for a moment in the midnight, everything feels new. So everything feels new. Somewhere trains are still arriving, somebody's heading home, somebody's staring from a window, feeling just as alone. Maybe we're all small lights shining across a sleeping town, trying to hold on to something before the night burns out. Oh, the city's breathing slow, and nobody has to know. When the last light upstairs goes dark and the whole world falls asleep, the noise inside my head grows quiet and the night runs deep. I watch reflections on the pavement as the morning waits its turn, and somewhere underneath the silence, there's still something left to learn. The apartment building's gone quiet, the hallway lights are fading low, and beneath the midnight skyline, I finally let it go, let it go, let it go. The city is quieter after 11. The buses move slower down the street. Neon reflections on the pavement flicker underneath my feet. The coffee shop closed an hour ago. The station's almost empty now. The night feels different from the daytime, like the city finally calms down. I pass familiar intersections, places I've seen 1,000 times. But something changes after midnight. Everything feels more alive. The air is colder than the evening. The sky hangs softly over town, and every window glowing gently feels like a story winding down. Nobody's asking where I'm going. Nobody's asking where I've been. The silence leaves a little space for thoughts I've tried to keep within. After 11, when the noise fades away, the city starts whispering things it couldn't say. After 11, when the crowds disappear, the streets feel a little closer, and the night feels sincere. Maybe nothing's really different. Maybe it's all in my mind. But after 11, I always seem to find a little more peace, a little more room inside the quiet beneath the moon. A taxi passes through the distance, its headlights sliding through the rain. Someone's probably heading home now. Someone's probably doing the same. A message sits unanswered on my phone, a conversation left behind. But somehow it doesn't matter, like it did earlier tonight. The city skyline in the river looks like stars beneath the ground, and every reflection in the water turns the whole world upside down. For once I don't need all the answers. For once I don't need every plan. I let the evening keep its secrets and simply be where I am. The traffic lights keep changing colors, even when there's no one there. A small reminder, life keeps moving without asking if it's fair. After 11, when the noise fades away, the city starts whispering things it couldn't say. After 11, when the crowds disappear, the streets feel a little closer, and the night feels sincere. Maybe nothing's really different. Maybe it's all in my mind. But after 11, I always seem to find a little more peace, a little more room inside the quiet beneath the moon. Somewhere another train is leaving, somewhere another day begins. Somebody's chasing new beginnings, somebody's healing old wounds. And maybe we're all just travelers passing through these glowing streets, looking for a place to rest, looking for a place to breathe. Oh, buses move slower down the street, and I keep walking through the silence, listening to my heartbeat. The screen lights up across the room. For a second I think it's you, but it's just another notification, something I don't need to read. Outside the rain is drawing patterns on the window by my bed. The city hasn't fallen asleep yet, but the conversations did. I thought somebody might remember, might ask how I've been lately. Not because I need saving, just because it would be nice. The clock keeps moving through the silence. The apartment softly hums, and somewhere far beyond my window, another night has just begun. Maybe everybody's busy, maybe everybody's tired, maybe every heart is carrying its own invisible fire. Nobody called tonight, nobody asked if I'm alright. The city kept its distance and the stars stayed out of sight. Nobody called tonight, but somehow I'll be fine. The world feels a little lonely, but at least it's honest tonight. The convenience store across the street still glows beneath the neon signs. A few strangers pass each other without looking in each other's eyes. There's comfort in familiar sadness, and knowing I'm not the only one sitting somewhere in the midnight, wondering where the years have gone. I remember conversations that lasted until sunrise. Now everyone's got places to be and different lives. The seasons change without permission. The photographs grew old, and all the things we thought were permanent became stories we once told. Still the city keeps on breathing, still the traffic lights turn green, even when there's nobody waiting, even when nobody sees. Nobody called tonight, nobody asked if I'm alright. The city kept its distance and the stars stayed out of sight. Nobody called tonight, but somehow I'll be fine. The world feels a little lonely, but at least it's honest tonight. Maybe growing older means learning how to sit with quiet, learning every empty moment doesn't have to be filled. Maybe peace is not a crowd, maybe peace is not applause, maybe peace is understanding life is softer than it was. The night keeps rolling on until the coming dawn. Nobody called tonight, but the moon stayed by my side. The streets kept all their secrets as the hours drifted by. Nobody called tonight, yet the world still felt alive. And somewhere in the silence I found a reason to smile. Nobody called tonight, nobody needed to. The city spoke in whispers, and somehow that was enough. The screen goes dark beside me, the rain begins to slow, and somewhere past the skyline the first signs of morning glow. Nobody called tonight, and that's okay. And that's okay. Rain is falling on platform 2. Tiny rivers running through the cracks. The last train's still a few minutes away. Nobody seems in a hurry tonight. The station speakers softly echo words that disappear too fast. A handful of strangers stand together, each carrying their own past. The city looks different in the rainfall. Neon colors melt into the street. Every reflection tells a story the daylight never gets to see. My hands are buried in my pockets. The cold air settles in my chest. And for the first time all week, I don't feel the need to rush ahead. The train will come, the train will leave, just like every passing memory. Rain on platform 2, falling through the midnight blue. Every drop reminds me nothing stays the way it used to. Rain on platform 2, washing all thoughts out of you. Somewhere between arriving and leaving, I'm becoming someone new. The tracks stretch into the darkness like roads nobody fully knows. Maybe that's what makes them beautiful, the places where they choose to go. A couple sits across the station, sharing silence more than words. A tired worker closes his eyes, ignoring everything he's heard. And all these lives keep moving forward without ever touching mine. Yet somehow we are connected by this moment in time. The rain keeps tapping on the rooftop like a song without an end. A rhythm steady as a heartbeat, returning once again. The train will come, the train will leave. Some things aren't meant to stay with me. Rain on platform 2, falling through the midnight blue. Every drop reminds me nothing stays the way it used to. Rain on platform 2, washing all thoughts out of you. Somewhere between arriving and leaving, I'm becoming someone new. I'm becoming someone new. Maybe every station holds 1,000 untold goodbyes. Maybe every train carries 1,000 second tries. And maybe that's enough tonight to keep me moving on. Not every ending means it's over. Sometimes it becomes a song. Oh, the rails begin to sing. The headlights slowly appear. Rain on platform 2, the train arrives right on cue. Doors open like an invitation to something I can't see through. Rain on platform 2, the city glows beyond the view. And somewhere in the moving darkness, a different morning waits to bloom. The rain keeps falling softly as the station fades behind, and platform 2 becomes another memory drifting through my mind. Rain on platform 2 tonight. The screen above the station flashed. The service ended in cold white light. I watched the doors close in the distance and disappear into the night. The streets were nearly empty now. The storefront signs were shutting down. A lonely taxi crossed the intersection without a single soul around. I laughed a little at my timing, the way these things always seem to go. Standing underneath the streetlight with nowhere urgent left ago. The city felt unusually honest, without the rush of moving crowds, just empty roads and quiet buildings resting underneath the clouds. Maybe missing something isn't always being left behind. I missed the last bus home, so I kept walking on my own, past the sleeping windows and the places I've always known. I missed the last bus home, but maybe that's alright. Some roads are only visible in the middle of the night. The river carried broken reflections of signs still glowing in the dark. The water looked like scattered memories floating softly through the park. I passed the diner near the corner where people gathered years ago. The chairs were stacked inside the window and only shadows filled the room. Funny how a city changes without asking anyone's permission. Funny how we keep becoming different versions of ourselves. The night air carried distant music from somewhere I could not see, a reminder that the world keeps turning, with or without me. And maybe every wrong turn is something worth remembering. I missed the last bus home, so I kept walking on my own, past the sleeping windows and the places I've always known. I missed the last bus home, but maybe that's alright. Some roads are only visible in the middle of the night. One more block, one more street, the city breathing underneath my feet. One more light, one more song, the road feels shorter as I move along. And maybe home was never just a place, maybe it's a feeling that appears when the world goes quiet enough to finally hear yourself think. The skyline starts to fade. The night begins to change. I missed the last bus home, but I found something on the way. 1,000 little moments that daylight couldn't say. I missed the last bus home and watched the stars above, turning distant city lights into something that felt enough. I missed the last bus home, and somewhere before dawn, the loneliness I'd carried didn't feel quite as strong. The sky is slowly changing color, the darkness giving up its hold, and I keep walking through the morning as another story unfolds. I miss the last bus home, but I made it anyway. The bus is almost empty now, just a few lights glowing overhead. The city's drifting past the window, like forgotten words I've never said. The driver keeps the silence moving, street by street and block by block, while tired buildings watch us pass by beneath the ticking of the clock. Red lights blur into the darkness, raindrops race across the glass. Every reflection tells a story, gone before it has a chance to last. I lean my head against the window and let the evening carry me. Somewhere between here and tomorrow is exactly where I want to be. No destination feels important when the whole world moves this slow. Window seat dreams floating through the city lights, watching all the distant colors disappear into the night. Window seat dreams, somewhere between now and then. The road keeps writing little stories I'll probably forget again. But for a moment, everything feels clear from a window seat out here. A couple walks beneath an umbrella, someone waits outside a store. A late night worker locks the entrance like he's done 1,000 times before. Every passing street feels familiar, even when I don't know its name. Like pieces of another lifetime, quietly calling me again. The radio plays softly somewhere, a melody I almost know. And every mile it passes slowly makes it harder to let go. The skyline fades behind the river fades into the dark, and all that's left are scattered headlights, drawing lines across the park. The city never really sleeps, it only learns to whisper low. Window seat dreams, floating through the city lights, watching all the distant colors disappear into the night. Window seat dreams, somewhere between now and then. The road keeps writing little stories I'll probably forget again. But for a moment, everything feels clear from a window seat out here. Maybe we're all passengers looking through different glass, trying to understand the present while watching memories pass. Maybe every moving shadow has somewhere it belongs. Maybe every lonely evening eventually becomes a song. Oh, the city rolls below, and nobody needs to know. Window seat dreams, as the morning waits ahead, the sky begins to change its color from black to blue instead. Window seat dreams, the night is almost gone, but I wish I could stay here just a little longer on. Window seat dreams, the city starts to wake, and every light that's disappearing leaves another memory to take. The bus keeps moving through the silence, the streets are shining after rain, and somewhere beyond the skyline, tomorrow starts again. Window seat dreams. The automatic doors slide open, a familiar sound at 2 a.m. The fluorescent lights are glowing like they've always been. A tired cashier flips a magazine without looking up from the page, and somewhere in the background a quiet radio plays. The coffee machine keeps humming, the refrigerator softly sings, while outside the empty sidewalks wait for almost anything. I grab a cup and stand there thinking longer than probably should. Like somehow all the answers might be hidden in the neighborhood. The city is still awake, even when nobody's talking. Convenience store blue under fluorescent light. Everything feels different in the middle of the night. Convenience store blue, nothing special, nothing new, just me and the quiet and the sky that's turning blue. Convenience store blue, the world slows down in here, and all the things that seem so heavy disappear. There's a student by the window, highlighting another page. A delivery driver scrolling at the end of a long day. A man in a business jacket stares into his paper cup, like he's searching for a reason not to finally give up. And for a moment we're connected by this ordinary place. Different lives beneath the same lights, different stories, same tired face. The city never asks for details, never asks where you've been. It simply leaves the door unlocked and lets you wander in. The city's still awake, breathing softly through the darkness. Convenience store blue under fluorescent light. Everything feels different in the middle of the night. Convenience store blue, nothing special, nothing new, just me and the quiet and the sky that's turning blue. Convenience store blue, the world slows down in here, and all the things that seem so heavy disappear. Maybe comfort isn't grand, maybe comfort isn't loud, maybe it's just finding somewhere to exist without the crowd. Maybe healing looks like this, a paper cup held in your hand, a place that asked for nothing and somehow understands. Oh, the coffee's getting cold. Oh, the night is growing old. Convenience store blue, the first train's not far away. The city slowly stretches toward another day. Convenience store blue, the darkness starts to fade, and every lonely feeling feels a little less afraid. Convenience store blue, the morning's coming through, and somehow everything feels lighter than it used to. The automatic doors slide open, a cool breeze fills the room. I step back into the city beneath the fading moon. Convenience store blue. The streets are quieter than before. The rain has finally gone away. Small puddles hold the city lights like pieces of yesterday. The air feels cleaner in the darkness. The night feels softer than before. And every step along the sidewalk feels lighter than it did before. A bicycle rolls through the distance, a lonely bell cuts through the air. The city isn't fully sleeping, there's still a heartbeat everywhere. I pull my jacket a little closer and watch the clouds drift slowly by. The buildings standing in the silence like shadows underneath the sky. I thought I still had miles to go, but maybe I was closer than I knew. Home isn't far, it's somewhere in these quiet streets, somewhere between the fading lights and the rhythm of my feet. Home isn't far, it's not a place I have to chase. Sometimes it finds me unexpectedly in the middle of this place. Home isn't far. Not tonight, tonight. The convenience store behind me becomes another distant glow. The roads I walked 1,000 times feel different somehow as I go. The city doesn't need to speak to tell me everything will pass. The changing colors of the skyline are saying it better than that. A window shines above an alley, someone else is still awake. Maybe they're staring at the same moon, maybe carrying the same weight. Funny how a sleepless evening can slowly turn into relief when the world becomes quiet enough to hear what you believe. The night kept all my questions safe and left me with a little peace instead. Home isn't far, but somewhere in these quiet streets, somewhere between the fading lights and the rhythm of my feet. Home isn't far, it's not a place I have to chase. Sometimes it finds me unexpectedly in the middle of this place. Home isn't far. Not tonight, tonight. Maybe home is not an address, maybe home is not a door. Maybe it's the feeling that you're okay even when you're not completely sure. Maybe home is every small thing that helps you make it through the streetlights and the empty roads, the midnight sky above you. The horizon starts to glow, and the city moves below. Home isn't far, the morning waits ahead. The darkness slowly loosens its hold above my head. Home isn't far, I can finally see the place I thought was far away was walking next to me. Home isn't far, the night is almost through, and somehow all this time I've been getting closer to home. The first bird starts singing, the sky turns silver blue, and somewhere between the city lights, the night lets go of you. Home isn't far. The streets look different before sunrise, like they're holding on to dreams. The city wears a softer color than it does by daylight's gleam. I walk beneath familiar shadows, past buildings older than my name, and every corner seems to whisper stories that remain. The traffic's almost disappeared now, the night's beginning to let go, but something in these empty roadways still feels like home. I pass the places where I lingered years ago on different nights, back when every wrong decision somehow felt alright. Time keeps moving, but some things never really leave. Street lights, remember the people we've been before, the nights we thought would last forever, standing outside closed doors. Street lights, remember the words we never said, the dreams we carried through the darkness, still echoing in our heads. And though the years keep passing by, their glow remains the same. Street lights, remember, even when we change. The old convenience store is quiet, the rooftop sign is faded now, but I can still see younger versions of myself hanging around, laughing at impossible futures, certain we had endless time, never thinking life would happen one ordinary day at a time. The city keeps collecting memories, layer after layer each year. Every sidewalk holds a footprint of somebody who is here. And maybe that's what makes this moment feel heavier somehow, the distance between then and now. Time keeps moving, but memories still find their way back. Street lights, remember the people we've been before, the nights we thought would last forever, standing outside closed doors. Street lights, remember the words we never said, the dreams we carried through the darkness, still echoing in our heads. And though the years keep passing by, their glow remains the same. Street lights, remember, even when we change. Maybe growing older means learning not to hold too tight, letting moments become memories, like stars fading with daylight. Maybe every version of ourselves still exists somewhere tonight, walking underneath these same lights. Oh, the horizon starts to glow. Oh, the city wakes below. Street lights, remember the nights that made us who we are, the mistakes and the miracles, the near ones and the far. Street lights, remember the mornings drawing near, and every light that's turning off leaves something valuable here. Street lights, remember while another day begins, and somewhere in their fading glow I find myself again. The street lights slowly disappear as sunlight fills the sky, but their stories stay behind. Street lights, remember. The sky is slowly changing colors, from midnight blue to shades of gold. The city stretches toward the morning, like a story being told. The roads I walked all through the darkness are easier to see right now. The buildings standing in the distance look different somehow. A train rolls softly through the silence, the first one of another day. People People start their daily routines as the night slips away, and all the thoughts that felt so heavy a few hours ago don't seem quite as impossible in the morning glow. Maybe I don't need every answer, maybe I don't need them today. Tomorrow can wait just for a little while. The sun is rising slowly across the skyline. Tomorrow can wait, the world can keep its pace, but right now I just wanna stay inside this moment's grace. Tomorrow can wait, I don't need to run. I spent the whole night chasing peace, now I found some. The corner store is opening early, someone sweeps the sidewalk clean. The city quietly prepares itself for everything it means. A cyclist passes through the intersection, a dog pulls gently on its lead. Small ordinary moments become everything I need. The night gave me no grand solution, no dramatic change of heart, just enough room to breathe again, and that's a place to start. Maybe that's the hidden beauty in staying away too long. Sometimes you find perspective when the noise is gone. The future's still waiting, but it doesn't have to arrive right now. Tomorrow can wait just for a little while. The sun is rising slowly across the skyline. Tomorrow can wait, the world can keep its pace, but right now I just wanna stay inside this moment's grace. Tomorrow can wait, I don't need to run. I've spent the whole night chasing peace, and now I've found some. All the streetlights are fading, all the stars disappear, but the things I learned in darkness still remain here. The empty roads, the station rain, the bus rides home, the city names, the quiet nights, the neon glow. Every place I had to go led me here. A brand new day begins. The sunlight settles in. Tomorrow can wait, the morning feels enough. The city wakes around me as the sky lights up. Tomorrow can wait, there's nothing left to chase, because somewhere in this ordinary dawn I finally found my place. Tomorrow can wait, the night is finally through, and every road I walked alone has somehow led me through. The city is louder now, the day has come to stay, but somewhere in the morning light, the night remains. Tomorrow can